Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 36 of the Unstoppable Entertainment Show, the most comprehensive entertainment news show on the internet. I am, of course, Nate Schaffner, otherwise known as the Unstoppable Nate. How are you all doing today? I hope everyone's doing well. I woke up to a few inches of snow in the driveway, and I thought, well, this escalated pretty quickly. But it's not entirely unexpected to for this time of year in Ohio. It is refreshing, seeing as how my wife and I lived in New Mexico for 5 years. It is refreshing to see snow after all this time. Um, so I thought I'd get started today. I hope everyone's doing well. I know it's kind of a crazy world out there right now, and I hope that this show provides a brief break, a brief respite from whatever it is that you're going through in life. Before I get started today, I just wanted to remind everybody that if you like this show, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, spread the word, tell your friends. Also, if you have a comment or a question, or if you'd like me to talk about certain movies or franchises, or if you'd like to take me to task on something, feel free to email me at the address listed in the description of this video. So, with all that down, let's get started today with this. Got a lot of interesting news to talk about on this episode, this specific episode. So, a couple of episodes ago, I talked about the sequel to The Beekeeper um, that is that is going to be happening with Jason Statham. Now, I have not seen the first Beekeeper. I've heard it's pretty good, but I haven't seen it. Jason Statham is always busy. But I have not seen the Beekeeper. But there has been but there is going to be a sequel to the Beekeeper. Jeremy Irons, of course, is going to be in it. Love him, and we have some more casting news regarding the Beekeeper 2. This report is on Joe Blow, published by Kevin Fraser. Variety reports that Yara Shahidi from Grownish will star alongside Jason Statham in The Beekeeper 2. Uh, Let me see here. Um, the first film was a surprise hit, and Amazon MGM Studios wasted little time getting the ball rolling on a sequel. Um, Let me see here. It does say Shahidi's role is being kept under wraps at this time. So, unfortunately, not much to go on here. So maybe okay. Look, I'm gonna base what I'm about to say on the fact that I haven't seen the first one. Maybe she's a former love interest. Maybe she's, obviously, when I hear that a character is being kept under wraps, that to me says that that character is very important. Um, so maybe she's a former love interest. Maybe she's a relative. Maybe she's someone close to Jason Statham's character. Is what I'm trying to say. But who knows? You know, uh, uh, but it's interesting that of all the cast announcements regarding Beekeeper 2, Jeremy Irons coming back. It's interesting that Yara Shahidi's character is being kept under wraps. Um, but so we will see. Maybe she plays the villain. I don't know. We'll see. So, but it's interesting. I think the Beekeeper 2 was supposed to start filming this fall, so they're probably filming right now, which is good news. Hopefully, and then it'll obviously be in theaters soon. So not much to go on here. I'm not familiar with Yara Shahidi too much, um, but more casting news means they're filming and we're going to see the movie soon. So hopefully filming goes well and we'll be able to see the movie. And I'm very interested to see the kind of character that Yara Shahidi plays. Very interested in that. So jump in the comment section and let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this. So this next bit of news, you know, I it was announced a while back that there is going to be a sequel to Spaceballs, and I like Spaceballs. You know, I think it's a little overrated. Um, it definitely is funny. A lot of people consider it one of the funniest movies ever made. I do not. I am not one of those people. It's certainly funny, but I think Spaceballs, while it is funny, I think Spaceballs marked a decline in um, the quality for Mel Brooks. Look, Mel Brooks is one of the all-time greats. I'm not. There's no denying that at all. Um, I'm just gonna look at his. Give me just a second here. I want to pull something up real quick. I mean, Mel Brooks is one of the greatest directors, one of the greatest writers, and you know what? Mel Brooks is a great actor too. I would say he's one of the greatest actors, directors, writers of our time. Um, you know, Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, um, obviously Spaceballs, Robin Hood Men in Tights. I mean, he's one of the all time greats. But I do think that I'm trying to the best way for me to say this. I think that the films that he did prior to Spaceballs are some of the funniest movies ever made. I think Spaceballs marked a decline in the quality of uh, the material. They're still funny, but I wouldn't consider Spaceballs or Robin Hood Men in Tights or anything after. What was the? Didn't he do a? I haven't. What was the Dracula movie that he did? I haven't seen that one to be perfectly honest with you. But I wouldn't. Um, yeah, Dracula Dead and Loving It. I have seen that one actually with Leslie Nielsen. Yeah, yeah, that one. Yeah. Um, I so there's basically what I'm trying to say. Mel Brooks is one of the all time greats in the film industry, acting, directing, writing. He's one of the best. But I think Spaceballs marked, for me personally, a decline in quality of the material. Um, and that's just me. I would consider everything pre Spaceballs, prior to Spaceballs, the some of the funniest stuff ever made. After Spaceballs, maybe not so much. So it is it. So the reason I say all that is because for me, a sequel to Spaceballs, excuse me, can only be better than its predecessor. Um, Especially with the people involved. I mean, Josh Gad is going to be involved. Mel Brooks is obviously coming back. You know, pretty much everybody except unfortunately John Candy is coming back. So I'm hopeful that Spaceballs 2 will be great. So there has been some casting news regarding Spaceballs 2. Now, I should point out that this article was published 2 months ago by E.J. Tangerman on Joe Blow. And a little ways down here, this article does point out, it does say, Deadline reports that production for the Spaceball sequel is now underway. So they've been filming for they may be done, actually. There are 2 additional pieces of casting news. Anthony Carrigan, who broke out in HBO's Barry, had a supporting role in 2020's Bill and Ted Face the Music, and was recently seen in Superman. He was so good in Superman, by the way. And he was good in Bill and Ted Face the Music. Another movie that I love that movie. So Anthony Carrigan will be joining the Star Wars parodying comedy. So he'll be in Spaceballs 2. And George Wyner will come back as Colonel Sandurz. What's the matter, Colonel Sandurz? Chicken? So funny. Well, I mean, look. So Anthony Carrigan is very, very talented, and I'm very interested to see what he brings to Spaceballs 2. I love that George Wyner. Look, again, it's just it seems like everybody except, unfortunately, John Candy is returning, and I love that. I wonder. What's the matter, Colonel Sandurz? Chicken. I love that George Wyner's coming back as Colonel Sandurz. I love that. I wonder. That makes me immediately makes me wonder what the banter is going to be like between Dark Helmet and Colonel Sandurz, because Rick Moranis is coming back too, and I love that. So, yeah, you know, I mean, it's and Josh Gad is involved in this. I think this could be great. I think this could be really, really great. So we'll see what happens. So, but yeah, Anthony Carrigan is very talented. I'll be interested to see what he brings to Spaceballs 2. You know, yeah. So hopefully Spaceballs 2 is great, and you know, I'm hoping for the best. So jump in the comment section and let me know what you guys think about Anthony Carrigan and George Wyner joining Spaceballs 2. So this next bit of news is interesting, at least for me. So one of the, so I'm a huge fan of David Fincher. He's a film director. He directed Gone Girl. He directed Panic Room. He directed The Game with Michael Douglas and Sean Penn, which is great. And he also directed My Beloved Seven with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt, and I love that movie. But I'm a huge David Fincher fan, and I will look. I really like. I know that David Fincher has denounced it, but the director's cut of Alien 3 is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a little out there. But it's pretty good. It's not nearly as good as its predecessors, but it's pretty good. But one David Fincher movie that I have not seen is The Social Network. I not for any particular reason whatsoever. I've seen the first 10 minutes of it, and I just can't get past Jesse Eisenberg's acting style in that movie. I think Jesse Eisenberg is overrated as it is, but the breakup scene at the bar between Jesse Eisenberg's character and the girl, the way Jesse Eisenberg, his acting style in that scene, it makes my gums bleed. Um, but I am a huge David Fincher fan, so eventually I will watch The Social Network. Um, for those who don't know, there is going to be a sequel to The Social Network. Not really a sequel, really. It's being described as more of a companion piece. So, and there's been some casting news regarding this sort of sequel. Let me see here. So this article is on MovieWeb, published by Ernesto Valenzuela. And this article says Aaron Sorkin's sequel to the seminal biopic The Social Network is unsurprising given the fast-changing and tumultuous events that have occurred over the past 15 years since the original film's release. While it doesn't seem likely that Jesse Eisenberg will return as Mark Zuckerberg, nor will David Fincher direct the follow-up to his original film, the project still boasts an impressive level of talent. Now, this is the casting bit of casting news. This article says, case in point, comedian Bill Burr has joined the cast as a new actor has been added to the already impressive ensemble, with the project continuing to round out its cast as the production nears a start date. This article goes on to say, tentatively titled The Social Network Part 2, Sorkin's sequel has already recruited the likes of Jeremy Allen White, Academy Award-winning actor Mikey Madison, and Academy Award-nominated actor Jeremy Strong. While the original Social Network film focused on the creation and development of Facebook, now known as Meta, the sequel instead intends to look at the consequences of the website's eventual evolution into a platform capable of spreading misinformation. Specifically, Sorkin intends to adapt the Wall Street Journal article known as The Facebook Files, which were leaked to the publication and led to the expose. According to an exclusive report from The Hollywood Reporter, Bill Burr is set to be playing a fictional character that serves as an amalgamation of various individuals. Okay. First, let me say this. I haven't seen The Social Network. Like I said, I will eventually. I've heard. To be fair, now look. I've only seen the first 10 minutes of it. Jesse Eisenberg's acting style in that first 10 minutes makes me cringe. I have heard it's phenomenal. I've heard it's phenomenal. And it should be, because it's David fucking Fincher. Why wouldn't it be great? So, it's not really a sequel. It's a companion piece, it sounds like. So let me get to the Bill Burr casting. I like Bill Burr as an actor. I like what he brings to the table as an actor. I like he was so good in The Mandalorian. I'm not a fan of him as like I as a comedian, as a stand-up comic. Um, his personality, and look, we we all have various viewpoints on different things. If we didn't, it would be a pretty boring world. But I feel like if I went out drinking with Bill Burr, the conversations we would have, like, I wouldn't see eye to eye to him on anything. Like, we have completely differing viewpoints about things. And also, I'm not a fan of his material, as like what he talks about in his comic routines. Like, I don't find it funny at all, and that's just me, and that's perfectly fine, But I'm not. His stance on things to me is uh, questionable. I think, um, but I like him as an actor. I'll say that. What's really interesting to me, moving on to what this social network part 2, like what it's going to be about, this evolution into a platform capable of spreading misinformation. I think that sounds wonderful. Because of it sounds much. Look, again, I haven't seen the full movie, The Social Network, but it was. I do understand that it was a topical movie for the time in which it was released. I think this Social Network Part 2, where it's going to talk about Facebook's eventual evolution into a platform capable of spreading misinformation. Platform capable of spreading misinformation. That sounds pretty topical to me. I mean, look, we live in a world now that where for whatever reason, um, educated professionals, industry professionals, doctors, scientists, whoever. We live in a world now where industry experts, that's the word I was looking for, experts, are being discredited with no proof whatsoever. Industry, doctors, scientists, whatever field you want to come up with, whatever field you want to throw out there. Industry experts are being discredited and people are saying, "Oh, they're spreading misinformation," with no proof whatsoever. People are just saying, "Oh, these doctors and scientists that have been trusted for years, they're lying." Well, Lord, what proof do you have? None. We don't have any. But everything that you've been told over the years is a lie. We don't know why it's a lie, but you know. So we live in a world now where I mean, hell, AI, just the use of it now, like I don't even watch. Excuse me. I don't even watch YouTube videos much anymore because I don't know what's, AI is just capable of so many things. So this idea that a movie based on Facebook becoming this platform to spread misinformation, I think it's very I think it's a very topical thing to talk about. Um, and again, we live in a world now where we are told that everything you've ever been told by by doctors and scientists who have degrees, industry experts in whatever field you want to think of, we're being told that they're spreading misinformation. Oh, what makes you think they're like? What proof do you have that they're spreading misinformation? Well, they're just spreading it. We don't have any. They're not with no proof whatsoever. Anyway, so I think this idea of a sequel to The Social Network based on that is very interesting, and it sounds very topical. It sounds like a lot of people, like, I'm interested in seeing that movie. You know, I I don't know who is. Hold on. I don't know who is. Um, oh, so Aaron Sorkin will be writing and directing the movie. David Fincher will not be directing, but Aaron Sorkin will. And oh my God, Aaron Sorkin is one of the greatest writers in the entertainment industry ever, ever. And the fact that he's directing this movie, it that even though David Fincher isn't directing it, the fact that Aaron Sorkin is writing and directing it, it probably means that this companion piece to The Social Network will probably have the same tone uh, that the first as the first film. Look, this sounds very interesting to me, and I'm sure once more people find out what this Social Network Part 2 is about, that it's going to be about the spread of misinformation. I'm sure that once more people find this out, it's going to put a lot of butts in seats. And it should, you know. So I need to watch the first Social Network. I like Bill Burr, he's fine, but I'm more interested in the storyline and the plot of the movie. It sounds very interesting to me. So jump in the comment section and let me know what you guys think about Bill Burr being in the Social Network Part 2. And what are your thoughts on what the movie is going to be about? How do you feel about that? So jump in the comment section and let me know. So this next bit of news. So it's no secret, as I've said over the past few episodes, I am extremely excited for the Highlander remake. I think the cast is shaping up very well. I love that Chad Stahelski is directing it. He did such an awesome job with the John Wick movies. I'm very excited for this Highlander remake. It has been delayed because excuse me, because Henry Cavill got injured training, so it's not gonna start filming until next year. But there has been some casting news regarding the Highlander remake. This article is on Deadline, published by Rosie Cordero and Andreas Weissman. The This article says WWE superstar Drew McIntyre has officially joined the cast of Highlander, the film from Amazon MGM Studios United Artists, being directed by Chad Stahelski. McIntyre will star opposite Henry Cavill as his character McLeod's brother Angus McLeod. Okay. Drew McIntyre. Okay. Drew McIntyre certainly has the look for playing this character. So, I love that he's playing Henry Cavill's brother. I love that. I think he certainly has the physique. He certainly has the look. He certainly, this is a kind of movie that is going to play to Drew McIntyre's strengths as a physical, just somebody who's physically imposing. I don't know if what I'm about to say will make any sense, but just bear with me. So, I'm actually a big fan of specifically professional wrestlers using that profession as a springboard to other professions. And there have been numerous professional wrestlers who have delved into acting either as part-time or a full-time gig. The best example is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I remember going to see there was the Mummy. I saw them at the time. I saw the Mummy Returns specifically to see The Rock. And I ended up loving the movie. But I was like, yeah, I want to see The Rock. And then I went to, I remember seeing The Rundown and Walking Tall. I was one of the few people that applauded The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, for being multifaceted. Oh, you're a professional wrestler, and now you're an actor. Cool. Awesome. As a fan of The Rock, the wrestler, I'm a big fan, and I'm going to pay money to see your movies because I think you're great. And it turns out he's pretty good actor too. So I was one of the few people, I guess, that applauded the fact that The Rock, The Rundown, Walking Tall, and there were professional wrestlers who caught the acting bug prior to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But I don't think, Hulk Hogan delved into acting a little bit. But I don't, even Roddy Piper, with They Live, I'm here to chew gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum, whatever the line is. It's been a minute. But anyway. So, but none of them had the impact or opened as many doors, I don't think, as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did. And let's face it, part of professional wrestling is acting. Whether they'll admit it or not is but it was pretty, another example is Dave Bautista. He was a professional wrestler, and he moved on and played Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he was great as Drax. He was awesome. and then doing things like he was in Blade Runner 2049 for about 10 minutes, but those 10 minutes were great. I mean, he's awesome. And then he was in the James Bond movie Spectre, um, which he was kind of a scene stealer henchman in that movie. The movie was okay, but for me, I was like, whoa, like Dave Bautista kicking James Bond's ass, All right. So I applaud specifically professional wrestlers becoming multifaceted and using their talents in many different ways. I really applaud that, and it seems like Drew McIntyre becoming involved in this Highlander remake is going to be another example. Like I said, he certainly has the look. It's so weird to me because it's interesting. Not weird, but it's interesting because when he first started professional wrestling, he was skinny and he didn't really have any. He wasn't as. If you look at him now, he's he's huge and he's uh, very physically imposing and he's but he wasn't always that way. Like he used to be skinny and there wasn't really much there, but now he's huge and his muscles are so he's clearly got the physical look. I don't know. I don't know how big of a role he will have in the movie. Um, so we'll see what happens with that. Um, and I mean, here's the thing: when you have, I mean, let's face it, Drew McIntyre doesn't really have much acting experience. So I'm sure that being in a movie directed by Chad Stahelski, who has great experience directing the John Wick movies, being in a movie with Henry Cavill, Russell Crowe, Karen Gillan, when you bring in somebody who doesn't have that much experience and you surround him and you surround them with people who have had a lot of experience, you learn things and you pick up things, and people they will, I am sure that they will, that Drew McIntyre will learn things and they'll give him advice, and he will. I don't know how much he will be in this movie, but I think him being in this movie, um, like he'll learn things and learn how to, if he wants to, he'll learn how to become an even better actor than he would be had he not been in this movie. So I'm looking forward to seeing Drew McIntyre in this movie. Him playing Henry Cavill's brother. That's going to be awesome. So jump in the comment section and let me know what you guys think about that. About Drew McIntyre playing Henry Cavill's brother in the Highlander remake. Okay. So this next bit of news is interesting. So, and this is regarding the new DC film franchise, the one that is being headed up by James Gunn and Peter Safran. And it started with Creature Commandos, which I loved. Creature Commandos is awesome. And then Superman came, and that was awesome as well. And that I haven't watched Peacemaker season 2, but I've heard that's great. So, it seems like this new DC franchise, film and television franchise, is batting 1,000. So, I forget when it was. In so in 2023, I think it was in 2023, James Gunn made an announcement about what this first batch of movies and TV shows is going to be and what specific movies and characters we're going to see. He said they're going to be Superman, Supergirl, we're going to see Clayface, things like that. And he also mentioned that there's going to be a Batman Brave and the Bold movie that I believe is going to be directed by Andy Muschietti, who directed the It movies, the more recent It movies, and he directed the Flash movie with Ezra Miller. So, what was interesting about the Batman Brave and the Bold announcement, and I don't know about anybody else, but it got me really excited, was James Gunn, who James Gunn said was going to be Robin. And so it was going to be a Batman Brave and the Bold movie, and James Gunn said that Robin was going to be Damian Wayne, the son of Bruce Wayne, and Talia al Ghul, I believe. And I was like, Damian Wayne is going to be Robin. All right, you know, and what's interesting about me, what's interesting about that is that James Gunn said that Damian Wayne is his favorite Robin, and I'm like, well, that's awesome. Damian Wayne's a little shit. You know, I'm a big fan of Damian Wayne as a character. Actually, he's a little shit, but you know, so that was back when the announcement. That was in January of 2023. James Gunn made the announcement, Brave and the Bold, and Damian Wayne was going to be Robin. Now, this article was published in September. So this information might be a little dated, but James Gunn, back in September, gave an update on Robin in this new DCU. So this article is on Screen Rant, published by Andy Bebacht. Let's see. And this article says, The Brave and the Bold gets new DC Universe updates from James Gunn as the film is still in development. While the DCU's Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, has already introduced several major heroes and villains from the larger comic book canon, The Dark Knight's upcoming live-action reboot remains one of the most highly anticipated films from DC Studios. As there will be two Batman adaptations in live action at the same time, this writer means, so there's going to be the James Gunn Batman, and then there's the Robert Pattinson Batman. The Batman in Gunn's new superhero franchise will be a more established take on the crime fighter, who already has a Bat family in this continuity. However, while the reboot has been in the works since the announcement in January 2023, filming is not starting anytime soon. In a new interview with IGN, the DC Studios co-CEO was asked about the age range they are looking to go for with casting their new Bruce Wayne, as it was originally announced that his DCU film would focus on him as a father, including the introduction of Damian Wayne. However, the Superman and Man of Tomorrow filmmakers shared the following update. This is what James Gunn said. No, I think you have to wait to see the movie. Some things have changed. Plenty of things are in flux on what his situation is with his parentage and all that stuff, so I wouldn't take any of it. Yeah, I mean, the actor who wants to... Listen, First of all, I can't tell you the amount of big actors that have told me they want to be Batman. I think you'd have a harder time finding actors who don't want to be Batman. He's the one character everyone wants to play. That's the truth. IGN asked for clarification about whether or not Damian is still set to appear in the movie as part of the DC story following his first response. But rather than giving a yes or no to the question, he responded with the following: I think you have to wait to see exactly what's happening. Okay. So, here's what I take away from this. First of all, in the announcement back in January 2023, James Gunn specifically said that films, projects, TV shows, whatever you want to call them, in this DCU would not be greenlit and would not start filming unless a finished script, until a finished script is complete. And I love that. I wish more studios would function like that, to be honest with you. So, obviously, they don't have a script yet. At least a script that everybody is happy with. Okay, that's fine. You know, if you're not happy with the script, don't greenlight it and don't start filming it. So, what I'm taking away from this is that maybe they're having trouble finding a way to bring Damian Wayne into a world, into this new DCU, and into a world where Batman is already an established crime fighter. And I can understand that, because how do you bring Damian Wayne... Sorry, I'm a little stuffy today. How do you bring Damian Wayne into a DC world? Because if you bring in Damian Wayne, you have to think about, okay, how old is Damian Wayne going to be in this movie? That means how old are the other characters going to be? Like, obviously, if you bring Damian Wayne in, then Dick Grayson isn't going to be Robin. He's going to be Nightwing. Right? So, this could mean that they're having trouble. Not really trouble, but they're struggling to they're struggling on finding a way to bring him in. And if they can't find a good way to bring him in, then they might not do it. Either that, or they're going to introduce Damian Wayne later on in a different movie or TV show. That's what I'm taking away from this. And you know what? Look, if you're struggling to bring in a character, if you can't find a good way to do it that's going to make everybody happy, either don't do it or do it at a later date. Because the last thing fans want is for character introductions, especially a character like Damian Wayne. The last thing fans want is for character introductions to be rushed. So, if it ain't the right time to bring in Damian Wayne, it ain't the right time. He says things have changed. Okay. Just you don't want to get too ahead of yourself. just make a good movie. A good Batman Brave and the Bold movie. If that means not including Damian Wayne, that means not including Damian Wayne and bringing him in at a later date. You know, it's as simple as that. Or maybe they've decided not to do. Maybe they've decided to not do Damian Wayne at all, which I think is a shame because look, Damian Wayne's a little shit, but he's awesome. He's a great character. Um, so hopefully they do bring in Damian Wayne, but again, find a way to do it well, and if you can't, then don't do it, or introduce him at a later time. So jump in the comment section and let me know what you guys think about these potential changes to this new DCU movie. All right, moving on here. So, a couple episodes ago, I was talking about this film called Cut Off, starring Jonah Hill and Kristen Wiig. It's about rich siblings who are cut off from their parents. And it sounds wonderful. It sounds like it could touch on quite a few things regarding certain generation, and it sounds great. And there has been some casting news regarding that movie. This article is on Deadline, published by Matt Grobar. Two-time Oscar nominee Bette Midler has inked a deal to star alongside Jonah Hill and Kristen Wiig in Cut Off, the new comedy that Jonah Hill co-wrote and will direct for Warner Brothers Pictures. In the film, following rich siblings who are cut off from their parents, Bette Midler will play the family matriarch. Oh my gosh. So, excuse me. Look, Bette Midler playing the mother of Kristen Wiig and Jonah Hill. I adore Bette Midler. I mean, good Lord. Everything from First Wives Club to Hocus Pocus. You know, I mean, she's what? She's been in the industry like 60 years. You know, 2 Oscar nominations, couple of Tonys, couple of Emmys. I mean, good Lord. She was my favorite Bette Midler character. Well, she had a bit part in she had a bit part with Get Shorty in Get Shorty, and she had a scene with Gene Hackman, and it's so good. It's so good. You know, and obviously, like I said, Hocus Pocus, First Wives Club. Bette Midler is phenomenal, and I love her so much. She hasn't been in much lately, which is, I mean, I understand. I understand why we haven't seen her much, but it's still a shame because she is extremely talented, and that's my no duh statement for the day. Bette Midler being extremely talented. Look, Bette Midler playing the mother of Kristen Wiig and Jonah Hill. That's going to be great. See, I can already picture the banter that is going to happen between those characters. Again, not much to go on except that Bette Midler's going to play them. This sounds wonderful. This sounds wonderful. And here's the other thing too, regarding in terms of Bette Midler not doing much lately. And by the way, I loved Hocus Pocus too. You know, not as good as the original, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. The fact that Bette Midler hasn't been doing much lately, and she got involved in this movie, that says to me that the script is really, really solid. It's really, really good. Which is great because I think, and again, I understand why, but as far as I'm concerned, you can never have too much Bette Midler. So it's great that she's going to be in this movie. I'm very excited for him. For I'm very excited for her. I'm very excited to see this movie. Um, so jump in the comment section and let me know what your guys' thoughts are on Bette Midler joining Cut Off. So there's more casting news regarding Beekeeper 2. And this is interesting because this sequel sounds like it's going to have a bigger cast than the original, which I think is pretty cool actually. So also to point out, Beekeeper 2 is not going to be directed by the director who did the first one. It's going to be directed by the director. I'm going to butcher his name if I try to pronounce it. But the director who made Nobody 2 and The Shadow Strays is going to be directed Beekeeper 2. I just wanted to throw that out there. So, there's more casting news regarding Beekeeper 2. So this article is on MovieWeb, published by Jonathan Fugue. And a little ways down, this article says, a Variety report has revealed that alongside the Staith, I love that nickname, the Staith, the Beekeeper 2 will add an MCU star and a former WWE superstar to the Hive. Klementieff, best known for her roles in Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers, and Mission Impossible franchises, and pro wrestler turned actor Adam Copeland, who has featured in the likes of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, will star alongside the Staith in the action sequel. I just love saying that, the Staith. This article does go on to say, while details of their characters remain under wraps, the smart money is on Klementieff and Copeland being fellow beekeepers, and will no doubt either work alongside or against Statham in the highly anticipated follow-up. All right, so Adam Copeland is a former WWE pro wrestler turned actor. Adam Copeland, for those who don't know, in WWE he was known as Edge. That's Adam Copeland. He's Edge, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers. I actually have a picture, an autographed picture of him that I got, which is totally awesome. And he's been kind of delving into acting a little bit too, and so it's cool that he's going to be in the Beekeeper 2. That's pretty cool. I think this could be. This is definitely Adam Copeland. Edge has done some acting previously, but this is the biggest movie that he's been in. I think Yeah, I think this is definitely the biggest movie that he's been in. Pom Klementieff, for those who don't know, it's this article says that she was in the Marvel movies and Mission Impossible. Um, Pom Klementieff played Mantis in um, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and she played in the Mission Impossible. I think she was in. Um, she was in Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning. I think in Final Reckoning she was the driver of the big truck that was chasing Ethan Hunt and Haley Atwell's character. Um, I don't know her character's name, but that's who she was. Um, she's also completely gorgeous, if I may say so. Um, but that's who Palm Klementieff played in those movies. She was Mantis in the MCU, and then she played that character in Mission Impossible. Look, this cast is shaping up really well, and I'm starting to get really excited for this movie. Again, I need to watch the first one, but I'm starting to get really excited for this. It seems like they're adding. This is going to be even a bigger cast than the first one. It seems like they're going to be stepping it up a notch for the sequel, which you know they probably which they should. Sequels, you wanna do what you want to try to do what you did before, but better, take it up a notch. Um, so I'm interested to see who Adam Copeland will play it. Edge. Maybe he'll spear somebody. I don't know. Edge. Yes. So I'm looking forward to this. So jump in the comment section. Not much else to go on, but jump in the comment section and let me know um, what your guys' thoughts are on this. So actually, there's more news regarding a couple of films that I mentioned before, and I don't know why I am getting to them just now. So I just mentioned Cut Off, that Bette Midler is going to play the mother in Cut Off, and there's more casting news. Um, this article is on Deadline, published by Matt Grobar. Um, this article says, Cut Off, Jonah Hill's new comedy for Warner Brothers Pictures, has another new addition in Nathan Lane, Deadline has learned. As previously announced, Jonah Hill and Kristen Wiig lead the cast, also featuring Bette Midler, who officially boarded the project only yesterday. In the film, following a pair of rich siblings who are cut off from their parents, Nathan Lane will play the family patriarch, with Midler portraying his wife. Oh my god. Oh, that's going to be so funny. Oh my god. Nathan Lane and Bette Midler playing husband and wife. Oh my god. Talk about two national treasures. Jesus. I love Nathan Lane. I maybe more than Bette Midler. Bette Midler. Um, obviously Nathan Lane playing Timon and in The Lion King. Nathan Lane is great. It, I there one of my favorite movies that he was in is The Birdcage. I love him in The Birdcage so much, And there's that classic scene where Robin Williams' character is teaching him how to hold silverware. Oh god, this is going to be great. This is good. This is oh my god. So Nathan Lane is going to play Bette Midler's husband. Um, this I'm yeah. Uh, Again, this is one of those instances where I'm just picturing the comedy scenes between all these characters. I think this sounds wonderful. So, um, so there's that, and then so and there's this piece of news regarding the Highlander remake. I don't know why I missed this before, or how I missed this before. So it looks like Jeremy Irons is going to be keeping busy. So this article is on the Hollywood Reporter, published by Boris Kitt. Um, Jeremy Irons, a triple crown of acting achiever thanks to Oscar, Emmy, and Tony Award wins, is the latest bold-faced name to join the cast of Highlander, Amazon MGM's remake of the 1980s cult classic. This article, towards the end of this article, it says, in a part that could be juicy, Irons will play the movie's other antagonist, the leader of a secret order called the Watchers, who are keeping an eye on the immortals and see them as a threat to humanity. So Dave Bautista will be playing the Carrigan, who will be the main villain. But Jeremy Irons will play the other villain, the leader of the Watchers. Oh man, oh man. You know what? Just take my money now. Just do it. This movie's gonna be awesome. I love Jeremy Irons so much, and he's oh my god. So yeah, I am so stoked for this. Holy shit, holy shit. So jump in the comments section and let me know what you guys think about those two bits of casting news. Jeremy Irons. So it also, like, okay, Jeremy Irons playing this leader of the Watchers who keep an eye on humanity, and keeping an eye on the immortals and things like that. It sounds like there could possibly be a sequel, because you don't want to put too many. You want to save certain villains for later, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it sounds like the Watchers could be not, obviously they could be Jeremy Irons could be a secondary villain and maybe save him as the main villain for a later movie. That could be awesome. That could be really cool. Or not. I mean, maybe it could go the other way too. We'll see. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, jump in the comment section and let me know what you guys think about all of this. One last bit of news here, and it kind of sucks, but I get it. So, I think one of my most anticipated movies, one of my favorite franchises right now is the A Quiet Place films. I love those movies so much, and I am eagerly anticipating A Quiet Place Part 3, and I love that. John Krasinski is coming back to direct. However, it looks like we may have to wait a little bit longer than usual to see A Quiet Place Part 3. This article is on Screen Rant, published by Michael Balderston. A Quiet Place Part 3 has had its release date delayed once again. Let me see. This article does go on to say Deadline has now reported that A Quiet Place Part 3 is moving again, but thankfully only a few weeks. The film is now set to premiere in movie theaters on July 30th, 2027. July 30th, 2027. Had Part 3 stayed on July 9th, it would have shared a release date with James Gunn's Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow. So, also, this article does point out that John Krasinski, in addition to directing the movie, is writing and producing. So, I think it's a good thing that it moved release dates, considering the response that, because this movie, A Quiet Place Part 3, like this article says, was going to be released the same weekend as the Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow. And that would have been catastrophic, I think, well, maybe not catastrophic, but releasing A Quiet Place Part 3 on the same weekend as Man of Tomorrow, the Superman sequel, would have been a bad choice. Given the response of the Superman sequel from fans and critics alike, I think that I don't think that A Quiet Place Part 3 would have made as much money as it would have had it not moved. I think it was a good decision for A Quiet Place Part 3 to move, because given the choice, I know what I would pick. I'd go see Man of Tomorrow. Nothing against Quiet Place Part 3, but I want to see what happens in Man of Tomorrow. So I think it was a good decision. And I don't think as of now, July 30th, 2027, I think A Quiet Place Part 3 is the only movie that's going to be released on that date. So that's good. So it was a good decision to move it. Kind of sucks, but I get it. I'm really looking forward to that movie. I can't wait to see what happens with, was it the Abbott family in that movie? So that'll do it for this episode. I might be on a little later. We'll see. I need to eat. I'm hungry. So I might be on a little later, but I'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. And hope everyone's doing well out there. So yeah, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. You can email me anytime, leave a comment or whatever. I will always respond, either on the show or by responding to your comment with another comment. I'll do it either way. So I hope you guys continue to have a good day. Stay safe out there. I know it's kind of crazy. And as always, I will see you at the movies.